ask you about that.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Well, the queen of butter, the queen of all things delicious, Paula Deen, is in some hot water. You may have heard about this story. She's actually admitted to using racial slurs, the N-word being one of them. And she's being sued by former employees who are saying that's not okay, and they're making all sorts of claims about harassment in the workplace and all that. But the fact that she's admitted to using it, and I think in this day and age, it's so taboo, and you know, I just think that when you're working with somebody and this is your boss and it's that kind of an environment, I don't blame them for being uncomfortable or standing up and saying this is absolutely not okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know, because she's so loved. And I'll tell you, she's really loved by a lot of African Americans because of her Southern food.
She does make great Southern food.
You know, and it's just sad and unfortunate for her because I think it's going to really hurt her brand.
You know what is confusing though? Go ahead, because I know what you're going to say.
I have questions about this because they were talking about this morning on the news, and Kid Craddock was talking about this morning, and I tend to agree with Kid Craddock on a lot of stuff, him personally, and he was referencing that black rappers, whether it's like Kanye West, you know, he had a song that was really popular last year called N-Word in Paris, and that was the name of the song. And why can black people continue to use this word over and over again, but then demand that everyone else abolish or get rid of this word from their vocabulary? It's kind of a double standard, right?
No, it's not. Because typically when African Americans use it, it means one thing. It's kind of in our community, and let me tell you, many people in our community struggle with the use of the word still, because it just kind of keeps like pushing forth that connotation and brings back a lot of the history and a lot of the hurt and the pain. But no, as someone outside of the race using it, you can't use it.
But is it not, I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm asking for so people can understand, is it not kind of hypocritical? It's like somebody preaching Christianity and then being offended that people aren't Christians and then doing the opposite, or saying you shouldn't cuss or you shouldn't cheat on your wife and then cheating on their wife, but telling other people it offends me when you cheat on your wife, but if I cheat on my wife, it's a whole different story because we have an understanding.
Well,
but you know, I mean, I
think a lot of it is where it comes from, and being very sensitive to the fact that it's very different. That if you say it and I say it, it's coming from a different place. There's so much history behind that word.
Right.
It was a word that was used by white people to talk negatively about African American people. So you saying it is going to be a lot.
You know?
Say that again.
But then sometimes, wouldn't it mean that they're using it negatively to talk about each other, talk about themselves?
No,
they use it
when
more.
We say
it's more like, "Hey, buddy."
It is. I mean, typically it's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I mean, it's like it's casual, and again, it's very controversial even within our race to even use it. But you really can't. I mean, outside of the race, you just can't do it.
I think it's just confusing for a lot of white people to understand that if like they say it, it's wrong, but if black people say it, it's okay. But then if you're so offended by the word, then why do you use it if it's such an offensive word?
First of all, it's like, again,
no, I know,
it's history to it.
I'm just explaining how I think a lot of people feel.
Well, and I mean, you have the right to feel anyway. Are you confused by it?
No, I'm not confused, but
So why don't you help maybe someone out there who is Caucasian, who's confused, understand it from another Caucasian's perspective? Why you're not confused?
No, I'm not confused because you've explained it to me.
But you were confused before?
I just think it's a double standard. It's like gay people, they don't like it when you use the F word.
Or they don't like it when you say, like, "Oh, that's so gay," you know, meaning like that's so dumb. And that was something like growing up, that was a word that was thrown around all the time, and people used it in place of saying, like I said, like that's so dumb or that's so silly, and it's offensive to a lot of people.
And guess what? I don't use it, because I understand the sensitivity for them.
Although I have gay friends,
but they say it to each other, right?
Who say it, yeah. And once again, it's also as confusing as like if the word offends you so much, then why do you let it come out of your mouth?
See, that's the thing. You're getting caught up in the word. It's what you mean behind the word and how it's used.
But people don't know that. That's like saying perception's reality. And if people perceive that you're using the word, then you mean one thing. But not everyone is educated on the word and the meaning of the word and the.
Courtney,
I'm not saying this is me.
Girl,
I'm just
you
saying,
spiraling down a really wrong path.
I think I'm saying that there's people that if you don't like the word so much, then why do you use it at all? Like there's words that I don't like, I don't say them. If there's clothes I don't like, I don't wear them. If there's people I don't like, I don't talk to them.
I do think there's probably a point to be made that
I don't think it's that, not to be funny, but that black or white. Like it's a gray area.
Yeah, Stuart's saying that it's kind of a gray area, that it's a, and I do understand that, you know, that some words, depending on where they come from when you're saying it, comes from a different place.
And Paula Deen said, from what you all showed me, that when she used it, it was to talk about an African American that worked for her.
It was a bad experience that she had, and she said, and so I reference him in that way because that's how he was treating me.
Because it's a derogatory word, and so I think there is probably a case to be made for just getting rid of the word altogether.
Yeah, that's
you know what I
I'm
mean?
saying.
And I will tell you, and we try to, as a family, not to use it even in our family situation and our dynamics. We really do, because it, you know, like you said, it sends confusing messages.
Yeah.